back to me. Enough is enough. They just wanna hurt us. Bring us down. Bring us down. Enough is enough. We won't let them hurt us. Bring us down. Bring us down. Enough is enough. You won't bring us down. Bring us down. Enough is enough. They just wanna hurt us. Bring us down. Bring us down. Enough is enough. We won't let them hurt us. Bring us down. Bring us down. Enough is enough. Enough is enough, is enough, is enough. Enough is enough. They're always taking
Hey guys, welcome back to Queen of the Indies Corner with another episode of Under the Ropes. I'm your host as always, the Queen of the Indies, Tiffany, and today is Blast for the Past. it's been a while. So we have my good friend Archadia. What's going on?
I don't know if I should take offense to being referred to as a blast from the past.
Listen, I'm older than you, so stop it. You can't get offended here.
Hey, today on the podcast, we have the old guy.
Oh God, no. Blast for the Past, because we were talking about this before the podcast, that it's been like 4.5 years since you've been on. So blast for the past. In a sense. It's been a little bit. So welcome back to
Thanks.
the podcast.
It's good to be back.
Yes, I'm glad that you are here. I already see some people into the chat. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that share button. Get some people in here. If you're watching this later, make sure you leave some love and some comments, all that fun stuff. So if you have any questions for Archadia, please feel free, drop it into the chat. So I already see stuff that I can't even translate because it's in Chinese, I guess. So I'm sorry. And it won't let me translate it. So apologies. Zach's in the chat. He goes, "It's National Coffee Cake Day."
Oh,
Did you know
fantastic.
that? Now you gotta go get some coffee cake.
I am a big fan, though.
There we go. So yum. But well, anyway, so what's up with you? It's been, like I said, 4.5 years. You're like retired, but every once in a while you come out to wrestle. You've had kids. He does my favorite scissor cut move.
That's it. I got to teach them that, too.
You do.
Yeah, well, they're going to hit me with it every time I lean over to grab something out of, like, the bottom drawer, so I got to watch myself. They're maniacs. I think the last time, so if it was 4.5 years ago, I've had 2 kids since the last time. Yeah, I had one son. Now I have 3.
Yeah.
It's wild. Yeah. And then the last time we talked, I had not yet ran my first show. It's been 2 years since that. I mean, and I don't like to use the word retired. I mean, I know that now I am still in my early 40s, but you know, every time I get out there, it gets harder and harder to recuperate. So I don't like to use the word retired, but I feel like every time I've wrestled in the last 5 years, I've either told my wife or someone close to me, yeah, that's it. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I was so ready for that match to end that I did 2 weeks or a month ago. probably about a minute after it started.
Hmm.
Like I kept on thinking, all right, I got a few minutes left, hopefully. I've never been that tired in my life. I was just like walking through the motions. And I think it's not an age thing. It's just an inactivity thing. Like I
Yeah.
just haven't. People talk about being in shape, but then there's also wrestling shape.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was in the gym a lot. I was in the gym pretty much every day and doing cardio and lifting, and I felt like physically I was in pretty good shape. But being in wrestling shape is completely different. It's constant movement. It's up and down. It's sideways. It's being picked up and slammed. So it's a lot different, and you can't really prepare for it without just being in the ring.
I think by you just saying that kind of should tell any wrestlers like out there that it's like practice, practice, practice. Make sure
Yeah.
you're training, not just in the gym, but that you should be, getting into the ring and, wrestling,
Yeah,
whether it's,
I know high intensity stuff like interval training is definitely good, but in terms of your body and just mentally, there's nothing that can replace being in the physical ring.
yeah. So do you still like have like your list of people that you're like, all right, I'm gonna do this. Okay, like
Well,
years ago,
the
it was a couple.
problem, yeah, the problem is that new guys pop up every time I look at the indies. So
Yeah.
you have a list, and then you're like, okay, well, it's probably never going to happen. And then you watch wrestling, and then there's these new guys, and I'm like, oh, okay, like why wouldn't I want to get into the ring with like a flying Ryan O'Neal or
Yeah.
like that's the kind of stuff that bothers you because mentally I'm like shutting down. It's like the computer noise. You feel it shutting down, and then you watch wrestling. You're like, you just get so excited when you see these guys that are and what they're doing out there. It's so much fun to watch that you can't help but wonder what kind of match you would put on with them.
Yeah.
So
Like I've been there with you where you're like watching like people preparing for matches
yeah,
and you're like, who's that? You see it like click on who's that? They're really good.
yeah, yep. And now I think it does put me in a different mindset because I know. And the nicest people in the world will always tell me, "Oh, well, you're just trying to be like humble." The guy that I was at my peak, or even 10 years ago, he doesn't exist anymore. So when I watch and get excited about the prospect of perhaps being in the ring with someone, I know that the version of myself that I would need to be to put on a good match with those guys doesn't exist anymore. So
Mm,
that's a hard thing to to get through because yeah, like you always dream of never declining athletically, but it's just part of life,
yeah.
and you go into a different mindset and you go into a different area. So for me, it has been promoting, and the stories that I never got to tell, now I'm able to tell them through other people.
Yeah. So I think anybody that's watching this, if you have like questions in those sets, soak up this knowledge. Like seriously, because this is one of the best out there. So soak up all his knowledge right now. Like seriously. So all right, so tell the fans out there, that aren't familiar with you. We're gonna talk about constant wrestling, obviously. So give them a little background because a lot may not be familiar with concept, and that's the whole point of this interview is for people to get familiar. We have a show this Saturday, so which we'll get more into details, but give the background of it.
So everyone thinks that they're special and that no one feels the way that they do, but I always felt like I had a different view on wrestling and a very unique perspective, and as a way to challenge that belief system, me and a friend of mine, he wrestles under TJ Blade. We, put our money where our mouths are, and we ran our first show in July of 2024. Yeah, 2024. Yep. And it was awesome. We had Jay Lethal main event against Griffin McCoy, and Junie Underwood was on the show, and Sean Smith, and Charles Mason, and Anthony Gangone, and all these guys, and Kwesi Asante, who eventually became our champion. All these guys were on the show, and it was just fun to watch. And I think I guess for lack of a better word, caught the bug of wanting to continue doing that. And where I come from and where I grew up in wrestling, it was always based on episodic stories. Like, even in the backyard days, I don't know if you know this, but backyard stuff had its own wrestling link,
Mm-hmm.
like message board,
Oh,
where
wow.
people would post their backyard wrestling stuff, and we would always treat it like a TV show where we did it every week and we had storylines. It was very like Raw type. We were kind of cosplaying Raw, um, and it was awesome. And we were 16, 17, 18 years old, and we would put it on message boards. So we always felt, even presentation wise, where I grew up in the wrestling business was always presentation and production and creating stories. So I want to keep that model, and I don't like doing one-off indie shows. I wanted to have something that I could tell stories that I wanted to tell and put my faith in wrestlers that I believe in. And that's where Constant came from, was the molding of the right place, the right time. And we had the ability to get it done, and we started it. And then it's kind of evolved into what it is now, where we're going to be running pretty much monthly shows through November.
That's crazy. So it's
Yeah.
so cool to like see, and then it's like, oh, like to see all the people that you've brought in through the last couple of shows and what you got coming up. Like, it's been fun, and all these are on YouTube, so you guys can definitely go check this out if you haven't already. So let's start off with this. For a fan that's never watched it, what is probably like the match you would recommend from one of the shows for them to check out?
So I think the main event from our last show, which is a 4-way, kind of blends all the styles that we have. So KTB, Anthony Gangone, Griffin McCoy, and Kwesi Asante were the main event. It was a 4-way championship match, and I think it's a perfect blend of the type of wrestler that we look for. I don't believe in a very solid set of rules for professional wrestling. I think professional wrestling is at its best when you don't allow parameters and just let people do what they want to do and what they think. I mean, it's art, right? So any way that you can go out and do your art, that's the best way to do it. And that 4-way match for me blended so many different things. It's big personalities. It's big characters. It's great wrestling. It's drama. It's theater. Like I loved that match so much. But I mean, the whole show was great in my opinion. I think from top, I can't find a match that, I mean, we've only put on 2 shows, but I can't find a match where I feel like doesn't at least give us something that we can point back to and say, like, that's what we're about.
Yeah.
And even the main event with Jay and Griffin was great. I really liked Jordan and Drake Chambers, because part of, and I think you even know this from 4 years ago, part of what I love about promoting is hidden gems and people being discovered and giving people the opportunity to have a spotlight on them or a platform that they've never had before. And a guy like Drake Chambers, who, I mean, his own admissions would say that his professional career outside of wrestling has kept him from really going as far as he wants to. But again, that's what I love about it, is guys that, never had a shot and just saying, hey man, I believe in you, go do it.
Yeah. I've seen that with like wrestlers, they've got up to promoters in general, and they'll be like, all right, what do you expect from this? Oh, just go out, go have fun. Oh, really? It's like, I've witnessed that in person. And like, those are always like the best matches in my opinion.
because I feel like, especially artistically and theatrically, when that you're not trying to put someone else's idea of what it should be out there, and you're just, okay, I trust myself to do what I want to do. I think that's the best. Like, even in JAP, when I was there and I was doing, things that I hadn't done previously in JAP character wise, they never questioned it. They were just like, yeah, man, if that's what you want to do and you believe that that's going to succeed, then go do it. And I think that's the best way. That's the best way to handle it.
Yeah. So I like Jordan Oliver's always been your guy. I go all the way back when Jordan was like little, like crazy.
Little Jordo.
And then I mean, like between
I still remember the day that it's the two of them. It's Casey Navarro and it's Jordan Oliver walked in to the South River. Um, I can't remember the name of the church. Christ Church in South River. They walked into the little hall in the back, and I was in the ring preparing for my match, and I watched them walk in, and they were just like looking like little, like, oh, what's going on? Jordan, I think, had already been doing some things, but nothing crazy. But they both came in, and I worked out with them that day.
yeah.
And I knew from the minute that I talked to them about their desire to want to be great at wrestling that both of them were going to. I mean, obviously, I don't think I ever knew they were going to get to the level that they're at now, and they're still not done climbing. But it's been fun. It's been so much fun to watch because it's selfishly, it's fun to be right about something. And when I first met them and I saw their desire and their work ethic, I was like, these dudes, if they stick with it, are going to be amazing.
Yeah. So, and look at this. Jordan signed with AEW, which is crazy.
I mean, yeah, I it's one of those things where you feel like you always knew it was going to happen,
Yeah.
but even when it happens, you're still shocked by it to see that happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like there's that meme of Nate Diaz after he beats Conor McGregor, and he's like, I'm not surprised. Like that's like he even as much credit as he has gotten on the indie scene with winning the J Cup and the hour-long match during COVID with Tony Deppen or the whatever they did. I think it was like 2 hours. I don't know. Like that, even all the stuff that people have said about him positively, it's still not enough.
Yeah.
And he's still, to me, underrated. Even being rated where he is, he's still underrated.
Yeah. Very, very good. So let's talk about this card, and then we'll talk
Let's
about
go.
all that stuff. So I'm just gonna go by like however I threw this into the program here. So like the first match that I have here is the 4-way #1 contenders match. So Griffin McCoy, Drake Chambers, Malik Del Vante, and Corey Dillinger. Like, give us, like, I know this is gonna be so damn good. Like,
yeah,
damn.
I think it has. And there are wrestlers that hate multi-man matches because I guess, I don't know, it's a lot happening all at once. But for me, there's nothing more exciting than not being bound by a single thing. You could, the possibilities are endless here.
Yeah.
And with these four guys in the ring, it's absolutely going to be chaotic. I think, we talked about Drake Chambers a little bit. He's a high flyer. He loves to do creative, innovative, high-flying, risk-taking things. So to be in there with three other people is pretty exciting. Malik, again, was the first guy on our show to win a match. He won the first ever Constant Wrestling match against Brandon Kirk. So he's, got a reputation where he's up and coming and he does a lot of fun and creative things. Griffin McCoy is kind of like the foundation of the match, where he's not, a flippy guy, but he's super athletic and his kicks are disgusting and come out of nowhere. and Corey Dillinger is a guy who, surprisingly to a lot of people, dominated at the last show, and had like 3 or 4 viral clip moments, where whether it be pouncing Malik Del Vante 13 feet in the air, or just, I mean, he is a physical specimen, and he's scary in the ring to know that regardless of the experience that Drake has and the experience that Griffin has, and the energy that Malik has, that a guy like Corey is in there, could change everything.
Yeah. I like 4-ways, like, and especially when you have like different styles, it makes it very interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. I'm excited about it.
It's gonna be definitely good. So, all right, let's move on to the next one. Next one I have up here is Junie Underwood versus Jordan Oliver. Like, I was talking about this last night. Junie Underwood has, like, within the last year, I mean, Junie was on the podcast recently, and it's been really crazy to watch his growth as well. And this match, like, this is, yeah, I think this is what's gonna steal the show. I'm sorry.
I mean, I agree too, and I think as a promoter, I am going to be the beneficiary of two dudes who are just going to compete,
Yeah.
and I think both of them are using this as, setting the standard for who they want to be in the wrestling business. I mean, Junie has been on an upward trajectory for the last couple months. I feel he's needed an opportunity to really showcase what he can do. And I'm not the only promoter doing it. All the clips that I see from him, he's in there with a lot of big name and people trust his abilities. But Jordan actually wanted this match too. Like, he came to me and said, "Hey, like, I want to wrestle Junie," and I honestly didn't think that it was going to be as like heated as it actually is. They're really gonna push each other to the and I love it because from an entertainment standpoint, it's gonna be fun to watch. But I also love it because I'm such a huge fan of both of who they are as people. And I know that it's very dismissive to comment on someone as a person instead of their ability in the, like, we're in an entertainment business, so who cares if you're a good person? If you can deliver, a good show, then that's the most important thing. But to me, it's never been like that. And the amount of people that came to me when we booked our first show and said, Junie's such a good guy. You're going to love him. You need to get him on your show. And he was like a last minute addition because of how many people came to me and said, you need Junie, you need Junie, you need Junie. And he was really early. It was only a year and a half or 2 years in at that point. Like, he hadn't really, he started training during COVID, and it allowed him to really develop and bake, stay in the oven and wait until he was a well done performer. And I think that benefited him a lot. But now he's kind of trying to find himself because he's been doing it now repeatedly for a little bit of time, where he's starting to get out of like the kid mode and trying to become a fully evolved, performer.
Right.
So that's what's fun about this.
I just like, sometimes when they know each other so well, this is when they put on like the best matches. And
I think Jordan doesn't want to be upstaged by a guy who he like trains, and Junie's using it as an opportunity to try to upstage a guy who has been making a name for himself, just signed with AEW. So the opportunity for both of them is huge, and I'm excited to just sit back and watch.
You might have to provide some cigarettes for some people after this match. It's definitely gonna need like a cool down moment after this.
Yeah, I love it.
I love that. So, all right, what else do we have? All right, so next match we got Joey Silver and Eddie Thomas. So, I mean, everybody get ready for some sweets. I like that a lot of people that you've booked have been on this podcast through the years, and just to watch like their growth through the years. And like Joey's been on this podcast like a bunch of times, and just to see him as just Joey Silver, with him like being like with the silver pants, and that's it. And then now it's like, I remember when he started telling me about the change, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna like change my gimmick," and he was like, "It's gonna be a little provocative." I remember like having this conversation with him. So to like see where he's at now through like all the years, like I love that. Like, like, I see a lot of these guys through like even you wrestling and through the years. So I love that.
Yeah, me too. And I like, I mean, Joey Silver has surrounded himself as a student with some of the best people you can to train. He went to the Cody Rhodes school for a little bit. He did a bunch of stuff to really challenge himself and get better.
Yeah.
And I think that it has paid off. And again, he's one of those guys that I'm willing to do anything for because of who he is as a person. And if it's to give him a platform to do the things he wants to do, if he asks me for something, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And he wanted to be a part of Constant, and I'm happy that he wanted to, and he's here. And I think the person that people are going to be talking about after this match, because Joey Silver has a name for himself already. It
Right.
is Eddie Thomas, because a lot of people don't know a lot about Eddie Thomas.
Yeah.
He's kind of flown under the radar for a very, very long time, but he was a Jersey All-Pro student, when Homicide and Magic were the trainers. So he's not someone that is just off the street, unknown person. He has been in the ring and around the best wrestlers in the world for 25 years. So he's not, and I don't know if you saw the video promo that we released this morning from Eddie Thomas, but he's got some sort of attitude about, he's just here to have fun. He's wants to enjoy it. He wants to love it, and there is some kind of like little spice to it that I was picking up. But I can't wait to see what these two do in the ring together, because they are large personalities, and you're always going to be hopped up on sugar during a Joey Silver match, because he throws candy out to the crowd. I think I pushed a 5-year-old over at the last show to get a Tootsie Roll. So hopefully this one I won't get in trouble trying to hijack kids' candy.
You got to grab the bag before it goes out. That's
the key.
That's
is
the
look
key.
for where he's getting changed and be like, "Hey Joey, what's that?"
Just steal the bag. There's no candy. But see, this is what I love about independent wrestling is like you could, this is how I've discovered a lot of people is like you could just like one person, and then you just like kind of follow them. Like I always say, like Anthony Gangone is always the one for me that kind of brought me to like a lot of places, So it always takes that one thing, and then you find people that you're never familiar with, where maybe somebody else will be completely familiar with, but like he's new to me, because I've never seen him before. So I love that about independent wrestling. Very much.
And I don't think I have much to add other than to acknowledge what you just said and say that it's so true about indie wrestling, because every single fan knows different indie wrestlers, and being together as a group, and like that's the best part.
Yeah, definitely. This is why we support independent wrestling out there.
Yeah,
everybody.
Yep.
So, all right, next match. Like this is just crazy. Your breakthrough showcase match. Like, all right, go ahead. You break it down, because there's just a lot going on here.
Yeah, well, so the idea behind a showcase is that we might not use some of these guys every show, or we may not even know what to do with them, or we don't know them, but they reached out to us and we watched some of their stuff and we're like, all right, well, why not give them a chance? And I think the breakthrough showcase is going to start to become a staple for us, where it's like, we haven't booked you before, or we want to see you in a different way, or you're trying something new, so let's throw you in this. Like, that's what I love about this this type of match is, and it doesn't even have to be a multi-man or a multi-person match every time. It's just a way for us to say, hey, these are people that we think need a little bit of push to the next level. Here they are all together, and you tell us as fans who you think did well and who didn't. And that's the kind of idea behind the match. Sturdy Sal was on our first show, made a huge impact, made it to the finals, to the final two of a tribute to one of the greatest independent wrestling companies of all time, and was in there with Homicide. Ended up losing, but for him as a young wrestler to be able to be in there with Homicide, especially late and tail end of Homicide's career, is awesome for him. BT Bull, someone I've known since he was 16 years old, and watching him, like you said, the guys that you watched from the beginning to now, and the evolve, the evolution of them. And for me, for Brandon, it's always been, I feel like I have an idea of how he can succeed, and he needs to believe in himself and believe in a vision for himself to take himself to the next level. Ace Christian is a guy who I am not familiar with at all, who just messaged our Instagram page and would not leave us alone and kept saying, hey, do you watch my matches? Hey, do you watch my matches? Hey, do you watch my matches? Which is awesome, because he wants people to have eyes on him.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I got to get this kid to shut up. Let me watch his match and see what happens. And he was good. He had so many tools obviously he doesn't have it all together yet, but for someone as young as he is, he's 18 years old.
Yeah.
To have the tools that he has, the future is bright, and I'm excited to have him there. Trey Felipe is a guy who is like sneaky. Like, people don't expect him to be as big and tall as he actually is, because he wrestles like a lightweight and he carries himself like a lightweight in how he flows.
Mhm.
And then you meet him and you're like, oh, you're 6'2" or you're 6'1" and you're 200 pounds. You're not some small lightweight guy, So I think some of these dudes that don't know who he is, that are in the match, that are preparing, are going to be very surprised at what they get out of Trey Felipe. Ryan O'Neal, again, a guy that is, since booking him, has become way bigger than we even thought he was going to be in the next couple months. I mean, I booked him 2 or 3 months ago, and in that time, he's built such a big name for himself quickly, which is great to see. And I just think that this match is a great opportunity for everyone to really showcase, what they're made of, and what they can bring to the table. That's the whole purpose of this match. And then Ty Thomas, we are moving into the South River VFW for the rest of the year to do consistent shows. The company that was there before us is UWA Elite, and after a 25-year run, their last champion was Ty Thomas. So it was only right for me, at least, to think that he deserves a shot to showcase what he could do. So I'm excited again, and you said it before with the 4-way, the mix of styles. We have big, we have small, we have fast, we have slow, we have power, we have agility. It's all in this match. And some of my favorite moments for me as a wrestler was being in there where it was just all kind of chaotic. You don't know where moves are coming from, and you got to find the right spot to insert yourself. That's what I'm really hoping out of this match, is that people and I think Ty Thomas said it in his promo that he sent us, was, we're looking for people to show up and show out and break through.
Yeah.
And if they do it, great. We'll have them back every month.
I think that's great.
So,
I think that's a great idea to do. I mean, more people should do that so that other people can kind of get onto cards. And then the beauty with you is that you wrestled, so you know how it is to be in the ring. So then, you bring it into light with promoting a show. So and then it's like, all right, like, I know what I like and I know what could be good into a match like this.
Yep, absolutely.
So I love that. All right. So I know this match hasn't happened in years, and I know, without you even telling me this, that this was asked for. Okay, so Pat Dynamite and Charles Mason, like, I know this was asked for from each other, because I know that they've been wanting to work each other since the last time.
Yeah. So again, Pat is very similar to Jordan in that I've watched him, evolve from the very beginning of what he was, when he was Ellis Taylor, and he would come to the UWA shows and try some stuff out in the beginning, before he was like a little chubby guy who was like trying things out. And honestly, if to the untrained eye, they may have dismissed him. But I think he's always had, that the sparkle or the energy to want to really make it, and want to be great. And I think the best part about a guy like Pat is that it's not even like making it that's important. It's putting on great content in great art. And that's what I love about him, is that he takes so much pride in the performance of being out there and doing the things that he did. And I'm not going to tell you if they asked for it or not.
That means I'm right. I know I'm right.
But Charles Mason was on our first show. He's the only person that has beaten Kwesi Asante in a constant wrestling ring. So who knows where we go from here, depending on the end of this match. But Charles Mason, House of Glory champion, Jersey Championship Wrestling, ETU, or is it ETU or PWG? PWG. There's so PWJ. There's so many promotions out there, but and the reason why it's easy to get confused is because Charles Mason wherever he goes
Yeah.
is super successful and always stands out. Um, and he stood out in our first show and put on a great performance. It was disgusting at points where he was like licking his hands and doing weird things, and the crowd kind of didn't know how to feel about it. Some of them were excited, and some of them were turned way off. But you got to respect what he does,
Yeah.
and I think um, he's one of the top performers on the indie scene right now. For us to be able to have him and bring him in and put Pat Dynamite to the test against, we it seems like every show that's what we do is we put Pat Dynamite to the test.
Yeah.
I mean, we might even have to just call it the Pat Dynamite challenge, where we're just bringing random people in for him to challenge himself against. Because our first show he wrestled Speedball, our second show he wrestled Junie, and now he's got Charles Mason. So it seems like we are always trying to level him up and push him and push his boundaries.
I think that Pat and Junie was probably my favorite match the last show, because I think like I knew it was going to be good, but it exceeded all my expectations of what it was going to be.
And it was last minute. They
Wow.
weren't preparing for each other. It was supposed to be Junie and Tony Deppen. And Deppen ran into car trouble and called me, 3 hours before the show started and said, "Hey, not going to make it." And Junie actually offered to get in his car, drive, pick Tony Deppen up and bring him back by the time the show started. But I don't think it was in the cards, and couldn't make it happen because he just wanted to fight him so bad that he was willing to sit in the car ride with him for an hour. But yeah, I think Pat is at sort of, and it's similar to Junie almost, where they are at similar points in their career where they're kind of established and people kind of know who they are, but like, where are they going to go with this? What are they going to do? And they're both like kind of the same style, right. Hardworking, underdog, fighting for every inch that they have. So, I like that we have those two, and they're kind of similar in where they are in their careers.
Right. Man, but even the involvement with these two is crazy, because like even Mason, like I've been there since the very beginning of him being a billionaire playboy, you know, and then when Pat was Ellis Taylor, so like to see, and I love this because it's been so many years since I've like seen them wrestle back then. So like to me, this is like very exciting for me to see like, okay, they both grew so much as wrestlers. What's gonna happen?
Yeah, what's it going to be like? And I do believe Charles Mason had hair back then, right? He had like the little
he had like the full
yeah.
So I love that. So I'm
you might have to pop some pictures on the screen of Charles Mason with hair so people believe it.
Honestly,
well, I mean, it would probably do worse than just yell.
People can actually like go back to like my interview with Charles Mason on this podcast, which is again long time ago, and he was billionaire playboy. So hopefully he'll come back soon. We've been in talks, so hopefully he'll come back soon as crazy, and I'll get yelled at again. So all right, let's move on to next match. So this one should be really fun. Matt Vertigo versus Bon Voyage. Like this oh man.
So I think if we rewinded to a few years ago, it might be more fun. But Vertigo, I mean, I guess, and understandably, he's been wrestling for quite a long time and still has kind of like hit his head on the ceiling and not been able to burst through. And he has started to blame guys like Ron Voyage, who aren't like true like wrestlers, that they're like more entertainers. And he's like, these guys get these spots and I'm here fighting tooth and nail to be here. And all this guy has to do is dance a little bit and now everyone likes him. That's, and I get it. I understand the mindset, but the way he's going about it, Ron Voyage is 2-0 in constant wrestling. He beat Homicide. And then he won a six-way last show, which Matt Vertigo was in. And it ended with Matt Vertigo kind of like taking things into his own hands and attacking him, which is where we are today. And they've been trading shots on the internet. Every time someone posts something about one of them, they're commenting about the other guy. So Vertigo is not happy. Ron is always happy.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see with where these two guys take it.
Awesome, awesome. So definitely looking forward to this. All right, so we're gonna move forward. So we got another like crazy like TJ Blade, all go Nelly. Like I know I see all go Nelly all over the place. So shout out to him. Robbie
Yeah.
Roller, KTB versus Mr. Viller and Victor Atlas. Like this is this.
So it's a 3-way tag
Yeah.
match. And honestly, I'm this. So it's a wrestling and recovery showcase. One of our partners is a promotion. I don't know if you're familiar with them, called Wrestling and Recovery, where they focus on positive outcomes and positive outlooks, and people who are in recovery who had been addicted to some sort of substance, or just having a rough time with life, and giving them a positive outlet, coming to a professional wrestling show and enjoying themselves, and being around like-minded people. and I think it's a great cause, and I couldn't be more proud to be partnered with a group like that. But this is a showcase for what they do on their shows. TJ Blade is their community outreach champion, and he called up Algo Nelly to kind of team together to have this match against Mr. Miller and Victor Atlas. And then the late addition, KTB and Robbie Roller, collectively known as the Do or Die Posse, are going to were kind of thrown into this match. They were supposed to be on just the constant side of it. And then when we had two pull-offs, we didn't have much for them to do. That we didn't have another tag team, so they got added to this match. So this is kind of like a constant wrestling and recovery mix, match, because Robbie Roller and KTB will be on future shows for us, and then the other two groups are more of a wrestling and recovery showcase. So I'm interested to see how that dynamic works. I mean, I'm very familiar with TJ Blade, and that he's not only one of my best friends, but has always been one of my biggest rivals and biggest opponents. So I'm very aware of what he can do, but I'm interested to see the other three that I'm not really familiar with. I'm not familiar with what Nelly can do. I've seen obviously clips, but seeing someone on a screen and seeing them live and being in the ring with them is completely different. So the interesting part is, a 3-way tag match is even harder to navigate than a multi-man match, because now you have a partner, you don't know where they are, or if you can rely on them being there for you. So it's going to be interesting, and I'm excited to see how that dynamic kind of pays off.
This would be a fun one, definitely. So I always see Nelly all over the place, so good for him. Shout out to him.
Yeah, and he's a young up and comer too. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of young talent that is looking to make a name for themselves on the show.
Yeah, definitely. Conrad's in the chat. Everything pro wrestling. Everybody go give him some love. He's got you covered. AEW, WWE reviews. Hi Kylie, what's going on? So I guess we're coming down to the nitty gritty. We're coming to Anthony Gangone versus Crazy Sante. Like, woo, let's go. Like, repeat off of how it ended the last show.
Yeah. And I mean, the more opportunities you give a guy like Anthony Gangone to get into the ring with you, the less success you're going to have against him. Just all around, the mind for pro wrestling, I think when he, and obviously I don't want to get grim here, but when he leaves this earth, for someone to be able to dissect his brain and know how it works. And I think it would be if there was technology that you could say, okay, this is where he thought, this is why he thought, this is what he did. I think it would be a perfect blueprint for how people should approach the wrestling business, because they don't make people like Anthony Gangone, and with the mindset that he has, and the I think he has sacrificed a lot of. Obviously, I don't want to pull back too much of the curtain, but I think he has sacrificed a lot of himself for what he believes in about wrestling and what he believes about this business. And I think that he should be rewarded for his dedication to the craft. And not to mention another podcast, but like Ray's Respect the Podcast, Respect the Craft podcast could just be named the Anthony Gangone podcast, because he is all about the craft. And for someone like that to be in there with Kwesi, who is all energy and all emotion, and relies on the people and relies on the cheering and the clapping and stuff. It's an interesting thing, because Gangone is the antithesis of that, where he doesn't need the applause, and he doesn't care what the people think of him. And that's what I love about this, is that it's this guy who is just built up on emotion, and it's his ancestors, it's the fans, it's energy. And then Gangone is like, I am going to choke the energy out of you. And I don't care if this is a dead silent gymnasium by the time it's over. The goal is to win the belt. Like, that's what it's kind of like this chess match of, can I get the momentum of the people cheering my name that it puts Gangone in this bad spot, or can Gangone kind of starve the people of what they want, and kind of keep them sitting on their hands and not really giving them much to cheer about, which is fine with him.
Yeah. Wow. Great. It's always funny because, like, obviously, like I said, like, Gangone's everything to me. I always say it in all the podcasts that I've done with him and everything. So it's kind of nice.
Husband number one.
And always be number one husband. And I think it's funny because people that I've met through the years that I've always, like, that's like my blueprint for like independent wrestling for me,
Yeah.
and so it's kind of nice now. Like, I have, shout out to Zach. So like I would always talk about like Gangone, and he's like, I always hear about this guy, but I never see this guy, So now he's been fortunate to work with him and do commentary for Gangone, and he's like, I get it. It's like, I know, get it.
And I would feel like I didn't do him justice without saying this. And again, even thinking about saying nice things about him is a chess match in my own head, because, like, say, oh, you look like, if I came up to someone and I said, hey, you look nice today, they would say what? Oh, I usually look like crap. Like, that's Gangone. If you say to him, hey, you look great in the ring, he's like, oh, what, I usually don't. So it's hard for me to compliment him without now trying to chess match him into accepting the compliment, instead of taking it as you used to be terrible, but now you're good. You know what I mean? Like, that's, so but I will say, he has never been better, and he has never been faster, and he has never been more efficient, which is a scary thing to say, because when someone has the reputation of being fast and strong and hard hitting, and then they get faster and stronger and even more hard hitting, it's a very scary thing to deal with. And I think he has done a lot of work to get where he is. And I would like to say he's at the top of his game, but I don't think he is, because I think there is no top of the game for him. He's always constantly trying to get better. And I'm excited to see, what version of him finds themselves in our ring on Saturday.
Oh, and Kwesi's another one that, man, like, here it is that I remember like seeing him, and I'm like, why aren't more people talking about him? But, like, he's so good. And I remember like being at shows where nobody knew who he was, and then he sees me, he's like, hi Tiff, like, it's always the running joke, hi Tiff, and he can be heel, and it's just like, hi Tiff, and it's like, screw everybody else.
It took me 10 seconds, honestly 10 seconds, to realize, like, I wrote it down in my notes app. I went to Jeff Cannonball's show, Dropkick Depression.
Yeah.
And he was in a 6-man tag or a multi-person match, sitting on the outside for most of it. And then he popped in, and in that 10 seconds, I looked at TJ Blade, who was there, and I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And I wrote it down, and the next week I reached out and was like, we need to have you. We need to have you. Because I think if you've never seen him, I get it, because you don't know who he is.
Yeah.
But once you see him, man, you can't deny it. You can't deny it. You can't deny the energy that he brings. And it's all internal. It is just internal energy that is given out to everyone who's lucky enough to be in attendance when he's out there performing.
Definitely. These people can't play heel with me because it's not going to work. It's just not going to work with me. Like, nope, absolutely not. It's not going to work with me because you're going to break. So it's just like, I'm fine. I love seeing, like, being in those moments of seeing guys like Quasi, like, that people aren't familiar with him. And then once he starts doing, like, crazy shit, it's like, oh, damn. Like, they're like, like, instant fan,
Dude, lifelong skilled dancer.
Yeah.
So he can do things that other people can't do, and I love transcending different styles of art and the ability to bring what you do outside of wrestling into it. And Quasi is a perfect example of that. Just dynamic athlete with body control that other people don't have because of what he's done in his life.
Yeah. So, and this pair up here for this match is definitely going to be one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's yin and yang.
It really is. It really is. They're so good. Like I always say, like, Gecko will be my everything. He is my blueprint for independent wrestling. And just to see, I always say that about him, that every time, like, I've gone and seen him, like, you just see it, that he never kind of does the same thing. And I've talked about this with him on the podcast. Like, and he always said that he knew there was always, like, people like me that would, like, come every week to come see him, and, like, he didn't want it to be, like, the same style, because sometimes you can see a lot of independent wrestlers, they do the same thing. It before it's going to actually happen. That's me with, like, a lot of wrestlers, and it does. It gets stale after a while. So it's kind of nice to see the brain change up. So I love that. And I love Quasi. So this is definitely a match that everybody should be watching. So with that being said, so, like, tell everybody, like, how much tickets are, give all the,
so if you go to our Instagram page at Constant Wrestling, you can find the link in our bio for the tickets. If you want to sit ringside, there's only, and I mean, I don't know if people are going to be watching this after this, but there's only 4 front row seats left. So second row and general admission are available. So the tiers are 30, 25, 20. It's a smaller building. So once tickets are gone, they're gone. And the fire marshal will not allow anyone else in. So, if you're interested in coming, make sure that you get your tickets or get there early enough to find yourself a seat. But besides that, check out our socials. We're doing a lot of story-based stuff, a lot of promos coming from all of our wrestlers, and I think it's all great stuff and characters that you can really buy into. So hopefully you enjoy, watching as much as I've had fun creating.
So all those links are in the description below. I got you covered. The tickets are in there too, so you can grab your ticket there. And this will also be available after the fact, right, on YouTube, because you guys edit it. So.
Yep. So we're usually like a month or 2 behind. So I mean, now that we're going to be running more frequently, our next show is May 16th. So now that is happening, we're going to try to put it in hyperdrive and release this stuff a little bit faster than we have in the past. Because we've been like, oh, well, we got like 6 months before our next show, so we don't have to rush getting this out there. But if we're gonna want the fans to know what's going on by the time we get to our next show, then we got to be a little quicker.
But thank you for that, for like dropping the shows, because like I'm like a stickler. I can't get to everything all the time, like whether it's Jersey or whether it's in California, like I can't go. So it's like, I get a little annoyed with some of these promotions. Like, I want to watch my favorite wrestlers or just your promotion in general, and it's like, give me something.
Right. And listen, I believe in what Triller is doing and what IWTV is doing, but for me, the more eyes on our product, regardless of if you're paying for it or not, through YouTube is the best way to handle it, because that's how you become a fan. And hopefully it'll convince people to want to be there live and see it in person, because there is no better experience than seeing a live professional wrestling show. So watching it on YouTube is good to keep up with it, but I mean, live wrestling is amazing, and it's so much fun to watch.
And you can't go wrong with independent wrestling. It's cheaper than the mainstream stuff. So, like I always say, support your local independent promotions and everything like that. So,
I appreciate everything you do. You I think that you have done more than I think you've done more for independent wrestling than a lot of wrestlers that would say that they've been around for 20 to 25 years. You promote us and you promote the shows and the wrestlers and you make it come alive for a lot of people. So I couldn't be more thankful that there are people like you out there doing what you do.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. So hey, it's for the love of wrestling, right? Like, I'm here. I'm in it. I'm in the indie scene. I'm all in. I am all in. So, is there anything else we didn't touch base that you want the fans to know?
No, I think the best thing, or the only thing that I really want the fans to know is that, I would say that there's nothing that I want to shy away from in terms of what we put out there in content. So, my challenge to people who are out there that are interested is come watch our shows, and I guarantee that you'll find something that you'll enjoy. I think the characters are top notch. I think my vision of what I believe wrestling should be is what this is, and I am trying to put out in the world the things that I believe in, and I just hope that people would trust my vision and trust constant wrestling.
Definitely. Like I've said, a lot of these people that are on his card have been on this podcast, right? Ryan O'Neal was on here not that long ago as well. So, you can check those out, learn a little more about some of these wrestlers. So I feel like some of these people I need to bring back because it's been a long time. So, but I do have a fan tweet, and that's how we're gonna end on this podcast. Ooh. With our good friend Good Cop Bad Cop, just for because he loves heckling. I don't remember, he messaged me the other day and he goes, this is a repeat. He was like, return, right? I was like, yes. He's like, I don't remember. He's like, but he goes, here, we're gonna do this anagram question because he likes messing with everybody on the podcast. So okay. He said, would Arcadia be an anagram of a car I had? Tell us a story starting with those 4 words.
A car I had? Yeah. Tell a story?
Yeah.
The cars that I've had, they're all bad stories because the cars that I've had have been awful. But my first car that I had looked like an Easter egg. That's it. That's all I got. It looked like an Easter egg. Like it was this big, and it was the first car I had. I would bring it to professional wrestling shows. Like I thought, I don't know if I thought like I was going to get respect by showing up in a tiny egg looking, and I actually hit a wrestler with it we filmed a promo where I drove way too fast and I really hit him, and he did not get excited about that.
No.
So here, let me start the sentence from the beginning. A car I had that looked like an egg ran over Johnny X and hurt him.
Oh Jesus!
And he was very sad.
Oh, so, I don't know if what's it called? I don't think he's watching, but he probably watches like later and everything like that.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed saying the name Johnny X on a podcast in 2026.
There you go. Let me see the chat. Who will I have on the podcast next week? Well, Fancy Ryan Clancy is coming on Sunday. He's gearing up for Vegas next week, so he'll be on at noon this Sunday. So make sure you're subscribed. I need to get Don Freeze on. That's another name I don't know if you're familiar with, that you should definitely check out, that he's been blowing up also. And, here's a big guy who can do some crazy flippy shit.
Love it.
So, I Don Freeze has been on my radar. I know him for years. So, yeah, I have to make that podcast happen. Listen, I only do 1 a week. Give me a break. I can't get everybody on. So thank you for coming back on here, chatting with us a little bit. So good luck on Saturday for your show. I hope also people show up, and if not, they can tune on in. Again, all those links are in the description below, so make sure you give some love to Arcadia. So so you guys know that.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
So guys, drill. Stay safe, support independent wrestling. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good night.
Feeling miserable.